one of the things that happened in the history of photography is that pictures, initially we always worked in black and white. Our film was black and white, our photo paper was black and white. So to make something color, you had to do what you see on the screen, which is take a black and white picture, and then the photographer or the artist would take paint and paint in very simply over the photo and make things either authentic colors or whatever colors they wanted. You can see that the US flag is authentic colors. You can see that the trees are probably, the right shades of green, the lake is the right shade of blue. But we have no idea if this car in real life was purple or this car was red, and that's a creative choice that you get to make when you're working on today's project. Here's another picture. This is from New York, near an old roller coaster that's on a boardwalk, kind of like Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. Here's a portrait of a person. This is a modern day version of hand coloring. So you can see that in the backgrounds, you can see sort of the way the paint was applied. And like I said, you can take somebody with dark hair and make them blonde. You can change the color of their jacket, whatever. So those are choices you're going to get to make today when you are working on one of your pictures. And there's my lovely face. So here's the sample picture we're starting with. So when I took the picture in the studio, I just had to do a quick selfie. So there's me. Here's what I edited to. You're already sort of in this position. You've got your high key edit. And so now we're essentially going to color on top of it using the mask tool. And so here's a finished result that I did. In real life, my glasses are pink. I changed them to sort of blue. I did keep my eye color about the same. My hair is a little more yellow overlay on it, but do whatever you want to do. In real life, this is a navy blue sweatshirt. Here's a different version where I added some red to the sweatshirt. In this one, I made my glasses frames green. This is a more dark brown orangey color. So however you want to make the colors, slight adjustments, that's your choice. Now let me show you also what this looks like as a finished product. If I open up the mask tool, you'll see that I made a mask for each little detailed area. And as I scroll over it, you can see it's popping up orange, so you can see my overlays. And then there are also all these little points that show up. Those little black shapes. Each one of those shapes is showing where I started painting and masking. So let's say I decided after looking at this, I didn't like that turquoise color for the jacket. I would click on it. That opens up my jacket color. I can go down to right here inside the mask tools and go color and say, yeah, you know what, I think I want it to be red or a different shade of yellow or brown or whatever. So that's the value of this part right here, is that you can, after you're done, go back, reopen that mask and change it. You're mostly going to be working with color tools today. Let's say I want to make it purple. But you can slide the color up and down so it gets more vibrant, more saturated, or is a little more faded, a little more vintage looking. You can also adjust colors. Let me just move this color panel thing by playing with the exposure slider. So let's say I wanted a different shade of purple. In that area only, I can exposure slider down, or highlights up. So you can, any of these tools right here which deal with lightness, darkness, they will change the color as well. So that's all the choices you get to make. I'm going to go back to the teal color. I kind of like that. All right. When I'm done with this color box, hit the X. So let me show you how to, I'm just going to show you just how to paint in a couple of places, because this is a pattern, and once you start doing it, you just follow the pattern. Okay, so let's go to an uncolored version of Miss K. So here we go. Let's do this one right here. So I'm going to make a copy. And this is a new feature in masking that we haven't done. We want this to be easy to do, okay? So here's how Lightroom's going to help us. you go to mask, and you click on the mask tool. In the past, we've used object and brush. Okay? We're going to do something new today. We're going to click on a subject, or it's actually reading. It can see that there's a person in here. So you go to right here where it says person 1 and click on it, and it will open up a list. And right now, it's going to select all of me and none of the background. But what if I just wanted to do one thing at a time, like my hair? So I'm going to click on hair. And then I would say create mask. So now I have a mask that's made almost automatically perfect by just clicking a button. So my first step is to double click on the words mask 1, type in hair. Okay. Now, if I zoom in, I love zooming in on my face. Nothing awkward about that at all. Okay. You can see it also got some of my glasses frames right here, part of my forehead, glasses frames here. So we need to remove those mistakes. So if I click on the hair mask, I can subtract. And I'm just going to use a brush. If I need to make my brush bigger, I click the right bracket key, smaller, left bracket key. And I paint over spots that it got, so that removes that from what I'm masking, I'm working on. So not on my glasses frames, I have to make that small. And over here, same thing, off glasses frames. Okay, now I'm going to do Command minus so I can see all of the masked area at the same time. I'm choosing to use an overlay right now that's orange because that helps me see really well. You can be whatever overlay you want, kind of like in my little Ronald McDonald look. Okay, I'm going to now turn off the overlay, and inside the masking tool, go to the color box, and there's the thing that says color, and mine right now has no color effect, so I click on it, and now I can choose whatever color seems to be the best idea for me. So I'm going to try to get to a brownish color that matches my hair, but it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay because we're making an artwork, and I'm not going to freak out about it. If my hair were black, I wouldn't color it. If I had black hair, I would just leave it plain and I'd paint in other areas. It's just like you're coloring in a coloring book. This slider right here will either desaturate or increase saturation. So if I go way up here, I have almost red hair. No thanks. I'm going to go right about there. That's a pretty reasonable color for my hair. I like it, so I'm good. And I say quit. And I'm just going to check here. What happens if I make it darker? Well, I could do that. Contrast, nah, don't need to do anything with contrast. Maybe shadows down. I don't want to do too much darkness and too much shadows down so that it doesn't become like a loss of detail. So good, I'm done with that one. So now let's go after my face. So we'll go create new mask, read down the list, look for select people. I show up again, click on me, top choice, facial skin, create mask. That is a really creepy view to look at, but we won't look at it for too long. Now notice I also needed to pick up my neck, and it didn't do that, okay? So I'm going to go to on this one. Well, first I forgot to name it. So let's call it face. Say okay. Now I'm going to add, and I'm just going to use a brush and make my brush a little bit bigger. And paint in my fabulous neck. Doop, doop, doop. And when you're painting with a brush, right here underneath your brush controls is a thing called auto mask. Okay? If I keep that checked on, it reads the edges of the shape, and so like it didn't start painting into my shirt or my hair. It just grabbed my neck only. So that's really good. All right, let's turn off show overlay. Go to a color that's going to work for me. And again, if I wanted to make myself blue, or hey, it's homecoming week, I'm a leprechaun, paint myself green, you know, whatever. If I wanted to make myself purple, I'm probably going to go with kind of a more mellow peach color. And again, slide up and down until you get a tone that works for you. If you do colors that are fantasy colors, just make sure they look good, okay? All right, and so now select color is done. So I would continue this pattern. Create mask, select people. It sees me. Let's do lips. Creates a mask on the lips. Turn off show overlay. Pick your lip color. Now that looks like I'm wearing pink lipstick, which we know I'd have never worn makeup. So anyway, slide it around like that, okay? And you're gonna do that till you're done. Now, I'm gonna jump down to an area that's not on the person recognizer, okay? Let's talk about my hat for a second, okay? Let's go to create mask for my hat, because select people doesn't have an option for glasses frames or baseball caps. So I would go select objects, and then it's going to paint. When I click over it, I'm going to trace around the edge of my hat. And it's going to put this big red mask over the top of it. That's the computer reading the shape. And it grabbed it really cleanly. Turn off show overlay. I like that my hat is blue, so I'm going to use its regular color. Boom, there you go, blue hat. I would do the same thing for glasses. Okay, paint over that. The last one down here. Let's go back to my shirt. If I go to select people, it does have a feature for clothes. So if I go clothes, it reads it, but it's going to make everything the exact same color. So let's start with that, and then we'll do some erasing. Oh, I forgot to hit create mask. Turn off show overlay. Now let's say I want to make my jacket kind of a dark green. Okay. That's cool. But do you remember that when I showed you in other options of this, that see the zipper is one color, the pocket's another color? So let's go back to this kid right here. So here's how we fix that. We name this mask, and this is my shirt. Now we're going to subtract, and we're going to use a brush. And I'm going to use this brush like it's an eraser and take this color off of this pocket, and the brand, the label, that's going to go back to being plain. I'm also going to remove the color of the zipper because I want that to be different. Okay, so that's some good erasing. Then, if I wanted to paint those things in, I would go with Object, paint that pocket red, fill that all in. I did a real good job. Call this mask pocket. Okay. Show off overlay. And now I'm going to choose what color do I want that pocket to be. Magenta, red, yellow, whatever. So you make it be the colors you want to do. So this is almost done. I still need to do the eyes, my glasses frames, and the zippers. But I would just, for my eyes, I would go back to select people, scroll on me. I want my iris and my pupil. This thing here that says eye sclera, that is the whites of your eyes. You can just leave that totally blank. You don't need that. So iris and pupil. The other thing I'm going to need to do is eyebrows. So I would check on eyebrows when I'm ready for that one. And then when you're done with all of it, you close the mask window, and then you go back to having none of the target points, none of the pins for the mask, nothing. There you go. And you're done. All right? Long explanation, but pause, work, do little bits at a time, okay? All right, guys. Good luck.